And actually, one of them is now the Prime Minister. I'm sure you recognize him. Go ahead.
You know, before I became a board member, about 7 years ago, I met with Parviz Nazarian when CECI was just a germ of an idea. And he asked me, what do I think? And at that time, I had no idea that 7 years later, we'd be hearing the Prime Minister of Israel and the head of defense, Shaul Mofaz, and Ehud Barak. It's just a phenomenal accomplishment that in such a short period of time, we're seeing the endorsement of the most important people in Israel for this whole idea, both academically and politically. And speaking of endorsement, Erez will now come up and give you more news about CECI.
Wow, so many people. This is my second, do you hear me back there? This is my second speaking engagement for CECI. The first speaking engagement, Soraya told me, come speak. We have about 10, 15 people. I stayed up about 2 nights writing a speech. I came to the event, and it was just really a small event, and she told me, put your paper away. I don't want you to read any speeches. I want you to speak the way we talked about the situation in Israel, from your heart, from your experience. So I said, okay, 10, 15 people. So this time I didn't write a speech. I thought there's going to be like 10, 15 people. There's about 250 people. And everyone has written speeches. So to understand my passion for CECI, I'm going to, in the short time we have, try to give some background. I was born in the United States to an Israeli father who came to study engineering after the Six-Day War, and an American mother. At the age of 19, I left America and I went to Israel and I joined the IDF, served as a paratrooper for 2.5 years, and decided I love Israel so much, I'm going to stay there, and I enrolled into the Technion, which is the Israeli Institute of Technology, to study civil engineering. I was always involved in politics. I was in the debate team in America, and when you have it, you have it. And I went into the student body politics in Israel. I don't know if you know, in 1998 there was a student uprising. And I became the spokesman for the student body of the Technion, and then I was elected chairman of the student body of the Technion. And basically, I was on the route of becoming an Israeli politician. I worked for, I managed one of the biggest firms for campaign strategy and media strategy. And then I went and worked in the Prime Minister's office in Israel for 2 years. 2 years in the Prime Minister's office, coming in with a bit different perspective, with a lot of born-in American ideals and raised on a constitution. My morale completely broke. I lost all confidence, and I decided to just leave the political world in Israel. I remember my boss, who is Minister Uzi Landau, I don't know if you know him, came to me and asked me one day, and he said, just when we were getting fired from the Prime Minister's office because of a certain political situation, he said to me, I want to help you run, and for the next generation of the Likud party, which is where I set my roots. And we sat down, and I told him, Uzi, this system is not for me. It is a corrupting system. I mean, I cannot, today Israelis, and I'll soon talk about, right before I left Israel to come back and join the family business here, back to my roots as a civil engineer, I served in the Lebanon War. And that gave me the confidence that although Israel has a terrible political system, it's not an issue of a threat to its existence. I was always deliberating if Israel's political system is a threat to its existence. And the reason it's not is because Israel's existence is always under threat. Don't ever think that anything is going to change it. Israel's existence, especially today, I've already announced my own political views, so I'm definitely seeing dark, and I think especially today Israel's existence is a threat, but it's not because of the political system. The political system is basically taking a nation that has a lot of minds at work. Israel doesn't have oil. Israel doesn't have water. Israel doesn't have any resources that countries like Mexico, Canada, the US, our neighbors in the Middle East have. And yet we are a flourishing democracy. We are leading in technology. And we could do so much better. The political system, Israel is able to survive and complete promoting itself, although its political system is terrible, because of its people. In the last war, I remember I got my call for duty on the 30th of July. I already had tickets for me, my wife, and my 2 kids to come back to the U.S. I saw the day of my ticket to come back to the U.S. matched 15 years past the date of the ticket that I went to Israel to join the army. And we're all creative. We also movies. We all read books. Perfect story. A guy goes to Israel, serves in the army, then goes to the war, has the ticket to go back. It's all over. I've never been so scared in my life. And I saw that although the growing cynicism in my generation, our generation, towards politicians, towards policy, towards where is this country going, the day that the citizens are called to its flag, they're there. We had over 110%. How do you have over 110%? In Israel at 42, I think now it's even lower. You're done your military service. I'm telling you, guys were coming in at the age of 45, 46 from my unit, saying we're going in no matter what. So Israel's, I'll call it human quality, that plays the biggest role in a society. And I learned this as an American getting there at the age of 19, where we're all babies and don't know anything, is a quality that cannot be wasted. And when I look at politicians in Israel, it's very easy to go ahead and say, he's an Israeli politician, he's corrupt. I can't look at guys like Ehud Barak. I can't look at guys like Benjamin Netanyahu. I can't look at guys like Ariel Sharon and say these are corrupt people. It's the system that corrupts their actions. You cannot succeed in Israeli politics unless you play a game that has no rules, no logic, no long-term thinking, no long-term strategy, and I can't be humble here because I'm trying to make a point, so I have to sacrifice my humility and say that that's why guys like me are stepping aside. And that's why a lot of good guys that I knew that served with me in the leadership of the students that had a path into a great career in politics and leadership stepped aside and walked away from it. They don't want to corrupt themselves. They don't want to play that game that makes no sense. So when I left Israel, I said, that's it, I'm disconnecting. I'm not even ordering the Israeli channel on the Dish Network. I don't want to hear about it. I want to focus on my business. And of course, I chose the worst time to come to America for business and concentrate on my family. And when I was introduced and talked to Soraya and Dora and learned about CECI, they basically screwed up all my plans. And I'm telling this, especially people in more my generation. You're going to do stuff for Israel. My grandparents, who were upper middle class, they didn't live in houses like these, gave for hospitals, gave to schools. The worldwide Jewish community is something that Israel can never do without. Not in its history, not in its future. And when you guys need to step up, this is the cause. This is, as a civil engineer, it's like if you look at a building going up, you could change the windows, you could make nicer doors, you could upgrade the restrooms, you could get a plaque with your name on a ward or a new classroom. This is something people won't see. This is going into the foundation of what makes Israel grow, expanding its foundation, making its foundation stronger, so you can't just improve the building, but you could build it as high as you want. And that's what I want you guys to think about. And thank you very much. And thank you so much for coming, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Erez. In the spirit of getting people involved, we'd like all of you to get involved. I'd like to bring up Leon, who will say a few words to encourage you to get involved.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lian Kimia, and I must say, as an Israeli, I am so proud and excited to see you all here tonight. There is one thing that has brought us here tonight, and other than a good party, that is our love for Israel. We all share that exciting feeling of joining in applause as we land in Ben Gurion Airport. We share that sensation of feeling like we're home whenever we walk the streets of Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. By being here, you are showing your deep passion for Eretz Israel and how much you care and love it. You show your dedication and determination to see Israel flourish. So I applaud all of you. It is no doubt, go ahead, let's get a round of applause. It is no doubt that Jews across the diaspora are affected by what happens in Israel. Our brothers and sisters in our homeland are not alone, and they need to know that. Over 76% of Israelis are concerned about their government. Many have lost faith in it, and this is detrimental to Israel's future. We all know that a bright, strong future for Israel is dependent upon a stable, effective government. Such a government needs civically involved citizens and accountable leaders. Leaders who are available for their constituents and have their best interests at heart. We need to get back those leaders with the same passion and same drive that such leaders as Ben Gurion, Rabin, and Begin had. CCI tackles this core problem that faces Israel. This unstable government, as Dror and Erez explained, does not allow for anything sufficient to materialize. This is the number one reason that needs to be attended to. Israel needs a strong government that it can address. So it basically needs a strong government so that it can address all the 100 other problems that it has. All of CCI's educational programs have been created to ensure that the people of Israel are provided with the right tools and training to flourish as an empowered nation. One of CCI's mottos is, knowledge is power for Israel's future leaders, and it is the youth of Israel who are the leaders of tomorrow. By supporting CCI and their initiatives, which are explained in detail on the flyers available, we're actually protecting ourselves, our children, and generations to come. Now the question is, what can we do? Well, we are all doing something tonight, just by being here and supporting American Friends of CCI. You're encouraged to join our young professional group. There's also a petition going around that advocates that the government problem of instability in Israel must be addressed and alternatives must be found. By signing this petition, you will be sending this message to the Knesset and telling them that the members of the diaspora, all of us here, are aware of what is going on and we want to see a change. You will also be sending a message to Israelis that they are not alone and that we stand behind them as partners in their quest for a solution to a problem which concerns all of us. I, as I am sure you all here, do not want to see Israel suffer because of any inadequacy. I want her to be strong, I want her to be united, and I want her to thrive. We must take advantage of our youth and talent and not allow any indifference. As members of the diaspora, we have a responsibility. We have an influence and we can and must do something. Please join us in this important mission and take pride in your ancient heritage and the fact that you, your friends, and your family can one day say, I was part of the fight to help ensure that a stable, strong Israel shines for another 6,000 years and beyond. Am Yisrael Chai. So please talk to any of us with the Ask Me tags to find out how you can become part of our partner in helping CCI in Israel through American Friends of CCI. Please make sure to provide all your contact information, stay in touch, you will hear back from us, join more events, become active. Israel needs you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you. You know, I just want to make one observation. It just struck me. Here we are, the country with the most democracy by far in the Middle East, the country with the biggest freedom to vote and to have your vote count in the Middle East, is now complaining that we're still not satisfied about that. If that doesn't explain to you what being Jewish means, this is Judaism, when we're never satisfied. And we always want to make things better. So we're the freest country in the Middle East, not enough for us. We want to be even more free. We want our vote to count even more. The country that's got no vote in Iran is now trying to destroy the country that does have a vote, and the country that does have a vote is still not happy. And we want to make things better. And I think that's a great compliment to Israel and to Judaism. And speaking of Israel and Judaism, we're very honored tonight. There are very few people in Los Angeles who have such a passion for Israel. And he's the Deputy Consul General of Israel. He's a good friend of mine. He's here. We're very honored to have him with us. Gil Arzieli, he's come, and please say a few words, Gil.
Thank you. Erev Tov. Shalom. Hi. Now, Winston Churchill once said that having sex is like democracy. When it's good, it's very good. And when it's not so good, it's not too bad. And this is perhaps the case of Israel. We have a democracy, and what the CECI is trying to do is trying to make our not too bad democracy an excellent one. And we are grateful for the work of CECI is doing to improve our electoral system. One very important thing in all the activity of CECI is your involvement. And the involvement, the participation, the knowledge of each and every one of you of what's going on in Israel, being active, taking part is perhaps even more important than donations. Donations are important, but your participation, involvement, commitment, and love for Israel of the Jewish community in general in Los Angeles, and if I may say so, and this is something that I witness time and again, is the devotion and commitment of the Persian community. All communities are devoted, but I think that the activities done by the Persian community are simply outstanding. And CECI, with Parviz, Nazariah, and Soraya, we really are very grateful to you. Speaking about the Israeli system and comparing what just happened here in the States after the elections, President Obama started nominating the people of his administration. He just looked for the best guy and he nominated to the right position. If it's Gaitner, if it's Gates, for the Ministry of Defense, a Republican, stay, you're great, stay in your position. And what happens in Israel after the elections? 20 years ago, the Prime Minister nominated the Minister of Agriculture. And he was asked, what do you know about agriculture? He said, I eat salad. And that was funny at the time, but when 20 years later, you had the Minister of Defense that knew nothing about defense, then this is a different story. So yes, we have a lot to improve in our democracy, and this is where CECI comes here. Jordan Farmer is here, and I thought to myself, how does this come into the story? And then I thought, where would Phil Jackson be if he had to lead the Lakers with like 10 or 20 advisors, each pulling to another side, each one is the enemy of the other one, and instead of instructing the Lakers to do what it has to do, he had to manage the relation between each and every one of them. So what CECI is trying to do is trying to let our Phil Jackson, if it's now Benjamin Netanyahu or any other prime minister, to lead Israel to a better future. And we love democracy very much, but we don't love it as much as having elections every 2 years. Once every 4 years is good enough for us, and this is what we are trying to reach. I call upon each and every one of you to deepen your involvement in the Israeli life, in all walks of life, including in the political life, and be part, improve Israel, which is not perfect, but we are trying to get better. We still have a wonderful, prosperous country. How many of you are going to spend this summer vacation in Israel? Say no more. Thank you very much, and thank you for all your activity and support for Israel. Erev Tov.
Gil. Thank you, Gil. We're approaching the climax of the evening. You know, God gives us a gift, and one of our responsibilities is to share that gift. When you're a star, the gift that you have is your notoriety. People will come and listen to you. The press will come and listen to you. Well, in the last year, an amazing thing happened. You saw Palestinian kids and Israeli kids getting together and playing basketball. And it was thanks to this great Jew that right here in LA, recently named world champion, the one Jew in the NBA. We love him, David Stern. Exactly, very good, Gil. One Jew. And we filmed it. There's a film of this experience of Jordan Farmar in Israel. And in fact, I know that it's spread all around the world. It's a great little film. We have it tonight. We're going to show you the film, and then I'll introduce Mr. Farmar.
I mean, I've been blessed to have a great experience with life and be able to travel to a place like this and see the world, and at the same time help people who may be interested in what I'm doing. What's up, y'all? It's Jordan Farmar from Los Angeles Lakers. I'm here in Israel doing a little peace mission, trying to get kids from the conflict area to come together, play with each other, have a good time, and forget about all the outside stuff. So come follow us out here. I have ties to this area. My stepdad was born in Tel Aviv, and I was raised in a Jewish household. But at the same time, my dad was always around, so I would always go to my dad's side of the family, be with my black side, and do Thanksgiving and Easter and eat soul food. It was a great mesh, and it kind of developed me into the person I am today, to where I don't see things one way. I don't think
Ani Oev Kol Yehudi, I'll sing it. Jacob knows I'll sing it. Who wants me to sing Ani Oev Kol Yehudi?
over another.
Ani Oev Kol Yehudi.
So we started off.
Kol echad yakar bishvili. Ani Oev Kol Yehudi.
There,
Tell me when you're ready.
And went through the different quarters, in the Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, the Jewish quarter, so got to see different perspectives. Got a chance to go down to Masada. I got a chance to take a trip to the Dead Sea, float around a little bit. A little more, we're at the Dead Sea in Israel. You can come swim with us now. You can float. You don't need no floaties or nothing.
About to go float, salt.
Pega.
This is my friend. Yes. I don't know what you're saying, but thank you.
Yeah.
Shalom. The fear of drowning just goes out the window.
So you do in Israel.
We're out here in Jerusalem. We're about to take an hour-and-a-half drive to do this basketball camp for these kids. And I had to use my point guard vision and spot out a flat tire. Could you imagine that tragedy? We're driving an hour-and-a-half and then bang, we just get a flat tire, start shaking, go off the road. You never know what could happen. So luckily I'm a point guard. I saw that before it happened, pointed it out. Now we're at the tire shop getting it fixed real quick. Head out and still do our charity. So able to foresee these things. And this is Crunch Bar with chocolate in the middle. It's pretty good.
Israeli kids coming from Kiryat Gat, which is this town, and Palestinian kids coming from Jericho and from Tulkarem.
ג'ורדן פארם מהלוס אנג'לס לקסרס, אפשר לתת לו מחיאות כפיים. Everybody can work together, and I think basketball is a good way to show that. It's not just doing the thing that you think is important, like making a shot, but it's also passing to your teammates and doing the little things.
I'm Sammy. I live in Jericho. I love basketball free. Thank you. Coming.
We're gonna have fun today. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay. The idea kind of grew on its own for me to come out here and do it on site in Israel with kids from the region. The education process is probably the most important. So once you have an understanding and you know about the other culture and other people, and you see them as a person rather than just a figure as an enemy, it's much easier to get to a solution. Being out here and being able to play and have fun with one another is a great start.
وخلال الإشي المهم في جميع المشروع السلام بين اليهود والعرب، لأن زي ما يعني بتعرفوا إن دائما الحروب بين العرب واليهود، فيعني إشي حلو إنه يصير من إحنا صغار سلام بين العرب واليهود ونلعب مع بعض، وفي يعني حلو فن يعني نشوفوا جميع العالم إنه في شوية سلام بين العرب واليهود.
Coming back with the left hand. Okay, ready?
1, 2,
1,
3.
no, I'm gonna count.
Okay.
Chill out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So just like basketball, if you work on your skills, you get better. Same thing in life. You guys will work on your relationships and keep working together, things will get better. One, two, three. Shalom. Okay. Working with the kids has been great, especially for me to see how it is in the region, how Israelis and Palestinians don't mix and don't talk, and then to go into the communities and do the clinics with the kids and see them really interacting and socializing with one another, actually being on the same team and working towards a common goal together. Gets them, out of the mindset that they have to be enemies all the time and that they can work with one another. If you can establish those roots early in the future, change is possible.
I didn't hear what you said, but it sounded great. I got a chance to meet Jordan earlier. Just the mere fact that he took 500 pictures, he's a true mensch. He gives back to the community. He's been in the NBA for only 2-3 years. There's a Jordan Farmar Foundation. He's the hoop farm that my son is going to attend, God willing. And he also has a celebrity golf tournament that's coming up on July 19th and 20th. Apparently the party, Sunday night, July 19th, is going to be one of the coolest parties of the year because it's on a rooftop in downtown Los Angeles, and some of the big celebrities will be involved, like Jack Nicholson and Soraya Nazarian and others, and Jacob Siegel. So it's with really a great pleasure to know that this great Jew in Los Angeles, who is now part of our Jewish family, Persian family, and total Jewish family in Los Angeles, it's my great pleasure to announce to you and to present Mr. Jordan Farmar, world champion, NBA, UCLA, Los Angeles Lakers. Jordan Farmar.
Should I stand up front? Should I get behind the podium? How's this work? I'll just chill up here with you guys. How's everyone doing? All right, well, they've said pretty much everything that I had to say. So basically, I just want to get up here and not preach to anybody about logistics or anything like that, but just talk really about being active. You know, we're all here right now because we have something in common and we care. We're trying to make a difference and help people. I think that's the most important thing. For me, it's about being active in my community and things that are important to me. I started my foundation when I was 20 years old. I'm 22 years old right now. I've been to Israel, try to go reach out there. I do a lot of things at home. For those of you who don't know, I'm about action. I mean, whether it's using my star power and who I am as a Laker to come to events like this or network and use my name to try to bring people together and make things happen, or somebody else using some resources or doing the research, donating money, volunteering time, you know, all that stuff is very valuable. My day-to-day started at 7 a.m. in Las Vegas. I was doing a meeting with the NBA Players Association representing the Lakers, working on a deal with the owners, trying to get, you know, a deal worked out for the next collective bargaining agreement. I hopped on a plane here to fly here to be with you tonight to talk about something that's also important to me. So my message to everybody here, the youth, the young generation, is it's about action. It's never too early to get started and try to make a difference on things that are important to you. So thanks for having me. If you guys want to reach out to me, I have representatives here. My website is farmarlive.com. He's definitely a supporter, so that's all good. And yeah, so that's what it's about. You know, I have a very multicultural background, so I know a lot of different areas, but I definitely reach out to the Jewish side and the Israeli connection I have. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for having me, and let's make a difference. Oh yeah, and I told I would answer a few questions. I'll do a couple questions and answer. So if anybody has any, you can shoot. And if none, then I can get out of here.
Are you Persian?
No, I'm not Persian. In case you didn't watch the video, my dad's black, my mom's white. My stepfather was born in Tel Aviv. He's the one who raised me, and all my values and morals and everything came from him. So I get a little bit of everything. I don't speak it. I had a bar mitzvah. I know how to read it. I can understand when you guys speak back and forth. I can get the conversation, but I don't speak.
How do you integrate the different identities that you have into being?
I think for me, just embracing them all. I think sports was a big way to help it out. You know, when I was younger, I would go over my black friend's house and they'd be like, "Oh, that white boy can't play basketball." It was always sport, you know, that white boy can't play. Or then I would bring my black friends to Shabbat dinner, and so it was just about kind of embracing all of it, just showing that it doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, that you know we can all work together. Dang, this is like the 10th invite to dinner. I might be full by the end of the summer. But for those of you who don't know, I played basketball my freshman year with Emil. We go way back. His car was the first car I drove. I was like 14 years old. So.
We had a deal, remember?
No, I don't remember. Not right now. Yarden. the NBA taking on my Judaism. I get a lot of questions, usually from like Jewish reporters and stuff like that, about how it feels to be the only one. As of today, that's no longer the case. Yeah. If you guys don't know it, an Israeli got drafted today in the first round, so that's no longer the case. But I embrace it. You know, I don't really dwell too much on it, talk too much about it, nor do I deny it. I just kind of live my life and let it be, and it works for me. My foundation, it really started supporting the youth in the community that helped get me where I'm at. The youth of Los Angeles. I have strong ties to the UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital. I went to UCLA, so for those of you who don't know. Bruins, yeah. Every Sunday throughout the season, I brought a child and their family out to a Laker game. They would hang out with my family before the game, get autographs, watch us shoot around, go to dinner and watch the game with my mom, my sister. And then afterwards, I would hang out with them for a while just to get them out of the hospital. The golf tournament that he mentioned earlier is my first big fundraising event to try to raise funds to build a green room at the hospital. And I'm trying to build an energy-efficient, self-sustaining green room where the kids can go learn about the environment, go do their homework, play video games, and just get out of the sick mentality and sick mindset. So, like I said, I'm young and I'm trying to do what I can to give back, and we can all do the same. One more time.
What was the best part of your trip?
Best part of my trip was hanging out with you guys.
How is it being the real chosen one besides LeBron?
I think I was just blessed. I think I was very lucky. I worked extremely hard, but I was put in a situation where I could be successful. That's why I'm so adamant about doing what I can to give back. You know, so many people are less fortunate than us. I try to do everything I can, whether that's, you know, hold basketball camps in Israel, here. I kind of do everything I do with a little twist on it. You know, my basketball camp would be the only one where you see kids, first thing in the morning, you see 150 kids laid out on yoga mats, doing yoga, doing something different than everybody else. So I just try to use that with a little twist on it. All right, thank you guys for having me. Have a great evening.
Dr. Igal Ilyasi will now give a special award to our good friend Jordan, who now has 150 Shabbat invitations. David, move. David's move. And you know, this whole evening would never have happened without the incredible hostess and host for the evening. Soraya Nozarian will come up, Dror will come up and speak about the host and the hostesses, and we'll give them a special presentation for them. Come on up. What a house. Big applause.
Yeah, as David said, this night would not be happening if it wasn't for our great hosts, Albert and Jacqueline Mahanian, and their children, Michelle, Nicole, and Robert, of course, who shared their exquisite, newly finished home with us, and they bought tickets for the evening. I think we're the official first party here, and we wish them many more happy occasions to come in the home. So if you would come up and accept a certificate of acknowledgement from CECI, we would love that. Mr. and Mrs. Mahoney.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. CECI is an amazing organization. I'm so thankful that all of you are here. We're raising a lot of good money that's going to do a lot of good things in Israel, for the government, for the people there. And I'm very thankful to my parents. They just moved here like a month ago, and I grabbed them and I said, we've got to do some mitzvahs for this place. So I'm very, very thankful for my parents, and I'm very thankful for AFCECI.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you again. David Suiza, apparently there's a gift for you as well. Yes, something like that. CCI thanks you warmly for hosting the event. You're always a great MC.
Nothing better. Great. Well, you know, it's really my pleasure to be part of this movement, and I want to encourage all of you to get involved, and I want to thank you all for coming, Sarah Nazari and everybody who got involved from CCI. God bless you all, and have some fun. Bye-bye. And the raffle, the famous raffle, the most important part of the evening, the raffle. Now, when is the raffle going to be? Right now? You're going to do now? Okay.
Okay, we just, before we finish, I know everybody wants to start schmoozing and eating and drinking. Just hold on, though. I wanted to thank our committee, our fabulous committee. Can everybody come up here? Everybody who's helped us. Maya, Igal, Erez. Now for the raffle. Thank you to our sponsors. The sponsors are listed on.
Well, you guys, this is probably the best thing of the night, and this is going to be the biggest donation. So whoever can. We have Jordan Farmar authenticizing this. It's obviously every single person on the Laker. It's very rare to even have, first of all, 24 Kobe Bryant in white alone, having every single person on the Laker team signing this, and having all the owners also of the Lakers, the coaches, including Phil Jackson. And we're going to start the bid. We're doing an auction, and we want to actually, if you give a little more information as well.
Thank you very much. Again, we're honored to have Jordan here with us. We've, can you hear me now? Okay, we have a very unique piece, probably one of only a few, Jordan would know better, of a white number 24, entire team signed Laker jersey. Not only is it unique tonight because we have CECI, who we all dearly appreciate, and that's why we're here, but we're even more honored to have Jordan here with us to help start this. So I have a bid already at 10,000. I'd like to start the auction at 10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, besides for the fact that this has a tremendous value, not only because it's a unique piece, but because it's helping support CECI, I would like absolute participation on everyone's behalf. It's a very unique piece. Anybody, somebody.
So we already have. We do have the 10,000. We definitely want to raise more. This is probably worth minimum 20,000. You can't even put a price on it. And if you guys know CCI, really, it's all it is we're supporting stability of Israel's government and also the youth in Israel as well. So it's really all going towards that. And you're going to get something that's really, there's no value to it. This is a championship team, basically, right here. So anybody else, we're going to go for 11,000. Anybody, 11,000. 11,000, anybody? 11,000.
This is my signature right here. That's me. But nah,
it's real,
I mean,
man. It's real.
I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. It's just all for a good cause. If anybody had intentions of donating the money anyway, you might get something cool in return. But it's definitely unique, one of a kind, and it does have pretty much everybody on there. This is last season though, so if you like some of the new players we just acquired, you might miss out. 11,000? I guess we got 10,000. It's better than that.
Okay, can you ring? All right, let me ask the person. Let me ask the person who came up to me earlier for 10,000 to come up.
Please come on up. Please come on up. You won it.
Jordan bought it. Jordan bought it.
Where did he go?
Went to the bank.
Went to the bank, huh? I don't see him. Who was the person who came up to me with 10,000? Don't be shy. Yeah? Okay. Soraya has her name. His name, excuse me. Okay, I'm going to reopen this because the person is not claiming it who came up for it with 10. So we're going to restart this at an open auction. The person who bid 10 is forfeiting that officially at this point. I'd like to reopen it. Anyone out there, you can start the bid. Go ahead. 2,000. 3,000.
All right.
3,100.
All right. That's a discount. 4,000.
4,000. Again, this is a priceless piece. You're not going to find a piece like this that's entire team signed, including the team owners, including coaches, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jerry Buss, Phil Jackson, Gianni Buss. You got Frank Hamill, Brian Shaw, Kobe Bryant, of course, no doubt, Jordan Farmar, Derek Fisher, Paul Gasol. Everyone's on here. You got Lamar Odom, Sasa Vujacic. Where are those Laker fans out there who were cheering for the championship? Come on, let me hear you.
What about Israel, man? CCI, come on.
Okay, I got 3,400.
3,400.
3,400.
3,500.
35.
36.
36. 4,000.
All right. 4,500. 4,500.
45. Where's 45? Who's 45?
That's fine. 4,100.
4,100.
4,100. Awesome.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. 4,100. Daniel.
Does it come with a date with Jordan?
You're gonna have to ask him that.
We started at 10,000.
You know what? That's pretty cheap. I should take that myself.
Raise that if I were you. It's a guy.
What do you got? 4,500. What's your name? Doreen. Doreen, 4,500. Daniel, you got a girls' competition, man. You better.
4,600. Hey man, hey, let's just go step by step. 4,600.
4,600. Okay, we gotta have at least $300 increments.
No. Let's keep it at 4,600 for now.
4,800.
Who?
Did I hear 48? No? 46? 46.
47.
47.
48.
48, Daniel.
You want it, Daniel?
I would stop right now. I'm gonna go. I'll keep going. Sold.
This is worth at least 15,000. I'll give you a realistic number.
Right, I know.
It absolutely will be delivered to your house. 5,000. Beautiful. God bless your soul.
You know what? I'm gonna let a girl beat me today. It's hers.
5,000.
That's not my point.
How about 5,500? 5,500.
Next number is 55.
This is my house. What?
5,000. God bless your soul. Anybody?
I can tell that
Where's my man for 10,000? Checking out on me? He must have invested with me. I think he lost some money. You get it, huh? That's good. That's good.
Let's finish this up, guys. Let's get this done.
5,000 Doreen, going once.
Going twice.
Do I hear 6,000? Ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you're not going to get a piece like this ever again in your lifetime. Especially, I don't want to say this, but maybe Phil Jackson's not going to be here.
Hi. For all you fine young gentlemen out there who ride around in your beautiful cars, I mean, you could show this off way more than any car you drive out there. So, and it has a good cause behind it. So, I know you all have money in your pockets. Let's hear 6,000 from somebody. 6,000. Okay. Okay.
55. What? It was 5,000. Anybody else? Okay, 5,000. Doreen, come on up. Come on up, Doreen. All right, awesome. Congratulations. Thank you so much for that's awesome.
Give it up again for Jordan.